What's up, everybody? It is Memorial Day weekend, and it's like 2 or 3 weeks since I did the door knocking video. This is the follow-up and or precursor to that video. I'm sorry it has taken so long. I really am. And for you guys that were emailing me, thank you so much for keeping me on it. It's been a hectic couple weeks. I'm not going to go into everything that happened, but just say it's been a crazy time. So let's go over how to get you set up for success with door knocking, how to be the best. All right, so first things first. You need to pick a target zone. Pick an area that you want to hit that's about 50 houses deep. Okay, whether it's townhouses, condos, single family, it doesn't really matter. So your first thing you want to do is pick a target zone and roughly about 50 total houses. Any more and you're going to kind of get burnt out by the time you get to the end. The point isn't to hit hundreds and hundreds of houses every day. I mean, yeah, that's great, but how valuable can you be if you're doing that much work all day long? You're going to get burned out in a matter of time. So try to keep it to a small number that you can effectively hit with the same level of enthusiasm from number 1 to number 50. And I've found, just for me, 50 seems to be that number. So find a target zone area of about 50 houses. Now, if you're a member of the MLS, this is going to be really easy. You're going to go into your MLS and do a residential search or a property search or a public record search. I'm not sure, however yours is set up. On ours is public record. You're going to do a public record search for that target zone, right? And you can do it as a map search where it's just a tenth of a mile around an address. You can do it as a street search. It doesn't really matter, but get that search. That's going to give you every single address in that area that you highlight, right? So you get a report sort of like this. Public records one-liner. That's what this is. Now that report's going to tell you the exact address of the house. It's going to tell you who the owner or owners of the house is. It's going to tell you the last time the house was sold, what it settled for, and it's going to give you information about the house, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how much square footage, that basic stuff. This is information that's important for after we knock doors, okay? Now, while you're in there, I want you to also pull a 6 months of sales. What sold 6 months ago and what sold in the last 90 days. So you can just set your number for 180 days instead of for 90. You want to see what sold in the last 3 months and what sold in the last 6 months because you want to get an idea of what's happening. You know, what's the level of business. So let's just say in the last 6 months, 5 total houses sold for about $300,000. But in the last 3 months, 2 houses sold for $315,000. It looks like there's a little bit of an uptick. That could be due to anything. So you can't really make that a fact. You don't know why those houses went up and you don't know why those other houses weren't that high. But it certainly looks like that area is a little bit of in transition. It's going up a little bit. It's got an uptick. So the reason we do this is when we go door to door, every now and then you're going to have somebody who says to you, you know, I don't really know what's going on in my market. I don't talk to my neighbors. I don't hang out with my neighbors, but I have seen some for sale signs. You know, what a house is selling for in my community. Now, you cannot give them a straight answer because you haven't done a CMA, you haven't done comps, you haven't done all the legwork, and you're not an appraiser. But what you can say is, well, you know, Mrs. Seller, I noticed that like 6 months ago, we sold a bunch of houses in here for about $300,000. And in the last 3 months, I've seen a couple more sell for about $315,000. So just from raw numbers, it certainly looks like the market is on an uptick. I don't know what your house is worth. I haven't seen it. We haven't done any legwork. We haven't done any comps. We haven't done a CMA. But if you are interested in selling, this may be a really good time for you. It might be worth looking into if you want to set an appointment up. I'd be happy to do that for you. So that gives you the chance to get your foot in that door because you have the information at your fingertips. You know what's going on. Now, the other important thing with this information is this is not information that you show people at their doors. You don't turn this over. Number one, like I would think it's weird if I saw somebody come to my door that had a breakdown like this. But number two, you need to know this stuff. So before you go to that community, make sure you write down your facts and you memorize them so that when you're talking to the customer, you're talking to the people at the door, you're not regurgitating what you just wrote, you're remembering it from memory and you're saying, this happened 6 months ago, this happened 3 months ago, this is where the market looks like it's heading in your area, and this is what I think we can do. Let's set up an appointment, let's talk. Okay, so be that good, solid source of information. Now, the other thing we use this for, after you go to the door to door, and after you go to the houses, as you're going, I usually keep this in a binder, and I'll mark next to each address whether I saw somebody or didn't see somebody using a check mark or a star. A check mark meaning that I did not see anybody at that door, I didn't talk to anybody, and a star meaning that I did. Now, my follow-up, and I usually do this within 2 or 3 days of doing a neighborhood crawl, and as you can see, I've started doing it already with the lines through, is I send letters out to every house in the community that I went to, even if I didn't see them. So if I didn't see anybody at a house, let's say I knocked on the door and nobody answered, when I send my letters out, it usually says something like this. Good afternoon, my name is John Trigg. I recently visited your neighborhood. I'm sorry I missed you, but, and then I go into whatever, my conversation is going to be for that letter. If I did see somebody, the letter goes a little bit different. It says, good afternoon, my name is John Trigg. I hope you remember me. We met the other day in your neighborhood when I came through and talked to you about blah, 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 and get into the conversation. Now, that's not verbatim what I wrote. I generally write something different every time I write a letter because when you talk to somebody, you learn different things. It should be noted also, I handwrite every letter. I don't type them. I don't photocopy them. I don't use a format. Every single letter I write is handwritten and hand signed. People are going to read things that are handwritten. They're going to open it up, and if they see it's handwritten, they'll at least read the note. Most people, when they get their mail, they get so much junk anymore. When they see a typed formatted letter, like when I see a typed formatted letter and a blue signature at the bottom, I toss it. I don't even bother reading it. But if I see it's handwritten, I'll read the whole thing. So it takes you a lot longer. And if you have an assistant, great, they can do it. But if you don't, and like me, I don't have an assistant, I do it all myself. I handwrite every single letter. It takes me a few hours to do it, but it's worth it because my response is a lot better. I get people who call me all the time who got my letters and either say thank you or ask me questions about the market, and it starts that conversation going. So things to do beforehand. Pick a target zone about 50 houses deep. Pull up your 6-month sales, your 3-month sales, and pull all the addresses of all the houses you're going to go to. When you go door to door, check off the ones you see, check off the ones you don't see. When you follow up, send out handwritten letters to every house you went to, whether you saw somebody or not, and follow up with them. Now, the point of going door to door is to establish that connection, is to establish that relationship. Anybody who's thinking about setting up a listing appointment or thinking about selling, they're going to contact you if you did a good enough job knocking the door. And once they contact you, they're in. You know you got them. Now you just got to close the business. So as always, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free, shoot them over, comments down below. But I need you to like the videos. I need you to subscribe to the channel. I need you to tell all your friends to subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers I get, the more I'm going to be bombing out these videos and putting up a ton of information. So I hope you guys like this stuff. Good luck with it. Let me know how it works for you. And you guys have a great weekend. Thanks.